Hello, welcome back. We're back. It's Megan and Janis with MCAT Coffee Talk. Although tonight it's not, or today it's not coffee talk, it's hot chocolate talk. At least for me. Megan, I don't know what you're going for.
I'm doing coffee.
Oh,
I'm
no.
allowed to have it. I'm drinking coffee.
And you might notice I'm a little chilly. I don't know if any of you guys are in Atlanta, but we got snow. It's beautiful, but it's cold. Very cold. So thus my attire. But welcome back. Sorry guys, we've been out for we've been out for a couple of weeks, but we don't intend for that to happen anymore. These should be back up weekly, and we can talk all things MCAT, which I know you guys are obviously tuning in for, and we're excited to have you here for. So yeah, Megan, welcome back. You have anything to say before we dive in?
No, Happy New Year. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Phone's ringing away. So I know students are slowly but surely getting themselves settled back and, looking forward to starting up the February course. So we've got a lot on our plate. But what's up for today? What's our agenda? What are we talking about?
Yeah, well, so first of all, we do want to welcome everybody back to spring semester as well, not just back to us. But a lot of you guys are heading back to school, getting back into the swing of things. And our motto this time of year is don't forget about your MCAT prep. Now is the key time for a lot of people. If you are planning on taking your MCAT this April, May, June, roughly, if you haven't scheduled your test already, you need to get over to the AAMC and register and schedule your actual test date. And then you need to plan your actual MCAT prep. So don't forget about it. Welcome back to school. Welcome back to the thick of things. And for those of you taking the MCAT this semester, we wish you all the best, and we hope we can help you in any way, shape, or form that we can. So for today, this probably won't be too long of a video today, but I think we're just going to do a little bit more open Q&A. We had a few questions come in while we were out, and we divided this up. Megan, I know you have a couple. I have a couple. So we're going to go ahead and dive in with those, and obviously encourage everybody, if you have questions that you want to submit, go for it. You can email them to us at either Janis@Examkrackers.com or Megan@Examkrackers.com, or you can certainly put them in the comments of this video as well, and we'll see them. So want me to go first, Megan?
Yeah, because I got to pull mine up, Janis. So go ahead.
Okay, let's see. So first question was actually in regards to our manuals, our books. So it looks like this person in particular, they're familiar with the normal study guides. We have our normal typical set of study guides, but they're asking about the 101 books. The 101 books, what are they? How do I use them? And when do I use them?
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, there is a distinction. In fact, let me see. Here. There is a distinction. Here's an example. Here's one of them. So it says 101. And we have them for every one of our subjects. So bio, we have a bio 1 and 2, chemistry, physics, cars, and psych soc. I basically refer to the 101 book as a workbook only.
Yeah.
There's no content at all in the 101 books. Basically, they are practice passages. So throughout your prep, there's going to come a time where you feel really strong in the content. You've got it nailed down. All the clarity's there. You've read through, reviewed all that other good stuff. Now comes equally, if not almost more important, and that's my opinion, that switch that you're going to need to make. And basically, that's when I'll say to my students, start in with your practice passages, in addition to the full-length practice exams, which isn't what you're asking me about. But those passage books are key. Typically, the more practice you actually do with questions, the more likely that you're going to see that improvement in score. And it does come on pretty rapidly if you're consistent with it. Now, I'm not talking about, I did 5 practice passages, I think one time last month. You've got to be really consistent with it.
Yeah.
Typically, I'll have a student zero in primarily on something, let's say I'm struggling with psych soc or I'm struggling with chemistry. I'm going to really kind of have them maybe get on a regimen of about 20 passages a week, and then report back in with me and let me know how they're doing. Now, one of the things I recommend to my students, just a little tip here, the cars is something I have my students doing throughout their entire prep. So let's say they're doing a 9 or a 10 week period of time that they're actually doing preparation. Once they kind of get that cars technique or cars method down, I'll then recommend that, hey, listen, I want you to do 10 passages a week. And again, report in to me. Let me know how you're doing. Particularly with cars, practice really does become an art form. And it feels great because then you start to see your score going up, and it kind of gives a lot of momentum and, really kind of that push or, motivation, I guess, to kind of keep going. I mean, it feels good. Once you
Yeah.
start getting some positive, results, that's going to kind of stimulate you to keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, 101 books or the passage books are absolutely crucial and should be, equally, if not almost more important than part of your whole preparation. Really understanding the questions, but then really kind of identifying the incorrect answer choices, zoning in on them, getting familiar. I mean, let's face it, there's only, 10 ways, so to say, or whatever, that you can really ask questions about content. I mean, how many questions are there really in equilibrium? So when you start to see all the different ways, or practice passages, you look at the incorrect answer choices and you start to get familiar. Eventually, you're going to start to see a pattern. So again, you're going to feel more comfortable. Come official test day, you're going to be like, oh, okay, I've got this one. Good thing I've been doing my practice passages. So great question, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
and
And I know, just to piggyback on that, I know we get the question all the time from students, do I need both sets of books? Do I need the study guides? Do I need the 101? And the answer is maybe. The study guides, the 10th edition study guides they're comprehensive. They are everything you need for the MCAT, all the information and questions. The workbooks, the 101 series workbooks, some students need all of them. I think, Megan, you would agree. Some students only need a couple of them because we don't want you getting overwhelmed and feeling like you've got way more material than you'll ever get through. If you're solid in biology, you may not even need to touch the 101 books in biology, but maybe you need the 101 in physics, as I think a lot of students do. Or maybe you need, maybe you need the 101 in cars, again, which is there's never too much practice when it comes to cars. So I know we get that question a lot too. Do I need to go ahead and grab all of them at once? And I typically tell students, not necessarily. You grab the 101s as you need to get them. And you may need all of them. You may only need a few of them. You may need none. But that's usually not the case. But so just to kind of tack on there.
And also, yeah, guys, make sure you're 101. Okay.
Yes.
Prior to the 2015 new MCAT, we had 1001. Okay, so you want to make sure everything across the board is 101. And with the cars, just make sure it's the newest edition, the one that was released in 2016.
The one that says cars. If it says cars on it, if it says 101 verbal, it's for the old exam, because
Right.
Amazon does still sell. It's still a good book, but Amazon does still sell all those old books. So if it's 101 verbal, that's our old edition. 101 cars is the most current edition. Absolutely.
Okay. Great question. Thanks. Okay, Janis.
Yeah.
I have one for you. Where can I go to speak with an Examkrackers rep?
Right here. But obviously we're not live yet, so you can't talk to us live. But we get that question all the time. I think probably because, unlike our competitors, or some of our competitors, we don't have a center on campus at a lot of places, well, all campuses. It's just not the way that we have structured our business. So there is not a center that you can walk into to talk to an Examkrackers employee. I like to consider my phone, I know Megan does the same, kind of like my office door. My phone and my email are the ways that you can reach an Examkrackers employee. If you're ever unsure of who to talk to, you can always call the general number, which is actually listed right there, 888-572-2536, and they will direct you to whoever the correct person is that you need to be speaking to for your location. but we don't have someone local typically. Our instructors are usually our local points of contact. And unless they're teaching you, they're not on the clock yet. So they're not going to be available to kind of just reach out to and chat with. But Megan and I and the other coordinators in the company are available, and it's what we're here for. I would never tell a student to hesitate picking up the phone or sending an email, even if your question is more generally related to maybe your path, and maybe it's not specifically Examkrackers related. Maybe it's more related to where you are and what you should be doing and how you should be doing it. Maybe you don't have the best advising at your school, and you're just looking for someone to talk to about it. We're happy, we're more than happy to get on the phone with you and kind of figure out what your study path would be and what your goals should be, and kind of help guide you through that process. So you can find us on the phone. You can find us in email. You can certainly find us here on YouTube. You can leave comments, and we'll respond to them. Yeah. Any other ways?
Okay.
I think that's, yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, you know.
All right. Oh, my turn. I forgot. It's my turn. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Oh, okay. So this one we get all the time. You probably have a good bank answer for this one, Megan. How can Examkrackers help? How can Examkrackers help? Period. And what is the difference between us and other test prep companies? Which, is kind of that magical question that everybody wants the answer to.
Examkracker. Okay, so two-part. How can we help? We can help in a lot of ways with your MCAT preparation. Again, typically Janis or I will talk with you, do roughly about a 5-minute assessment of kind of where you stand on the spectrum,
Mhm.
a little bit about your background, kind of see what style and what kind of student you are. And then we'll guide you. If it is one of our live classes or an online course, we'll kind of go in that direction. We'll gauge you and see if maybe you could do it as a self-study. And again, guide you through our free syllabus, the product you need to be using, what books, mixing and matching. Maybe you're better suited for nothing but private tutoring. If that's the way your schedule falls, you're busy, really have very little time, something along those lines. So that's kind of some way in which we'll help you. And generally speaking, we give you, really an overall with our past experience, with Janis and I collectively, being definitely over 10 years, give you an idea of generally who you are in relation to who we've helped in the past. So we kind of match you up and that kind of thing and point you in the right direction. Now I'd say, and what was the second part of the question? What makes us different?
Yep. What makes us different from the other prep
Uh,
companies?
Good question. I think what makes us different, and actually what drew me to Examkrackers to begin with, is the fact that I think we're very unique. We're incredibly hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
We all are very different in kind of our thought process, and I guess we're not just a bunch of robots doing the same thing, and we kind of encourage and feed off of that whole thought and developing and different ways of learning and styles and styles of teaching. So that really attracted me to the company, and I have a voice, and certainly I'm heard. Not only on the inside of things, which students don't really see, but also out on the outside of things. When I do have the opportunity to be out visiting and talking with students and doing conferencing and actually doing some teaching myself. So I think that's something that really makes us stand out. I think the other thing too is that we are all educators. Our background really kind of stems from that, particularly so in our books. And again, if you start to look at that, you'll see the pattern, really of some very, unique and certainly intelligent thoughts that are actually put together in a very organized, very straightforward, very smooth way. So I think that's great. And I think, again, the emphasis that we put on testing,
Yeah.
really kind of key. That's, hands down something that's really going to be a good indicator. And I also think really our straightforwardness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not someone like, for example, I'm enrolling or we're all enrolling right now for our February course. I'm not just going to take your money and, keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best. You will be talking to me throughout your 9 weeks of preparation, whether you want to or not. I'm going to be calling you
Yep.
to not, yeah, to not meeting and attending class, and certainly, being a part of that and being interactive, I hold myself accountable. So I'm able to, and I'm in an environment that I'm able to kind of balance my day, and same with Janis, that we actually do check in with our students. Now, if you don't want to talk and you want to ignore the call, that's fine. There's nothing I can do about that. You're probably going to get a text or an email from me because
We're
I
going to
do.
try.
Yeah, we chart you. We're monitoring what's going on. We might get 3 weeks into class and maybe you're struggling with something or frustrated and, you're festering about it on your own. Now you're going to have that output when you get my phone call, or even you can call me, shoot me a text. Meg, I need to talk to you. Something's not working and I'm just not happy. You'll hear from me probably within the hour. So I think that accountability is also something that we're able to do. You're not a number. You will know
Yeah.
me. I mean, students will come up to me all the time. And Janis, we're at a convention here, convention there. Students will come up and be like, "Oh my God, I just talked to you on the phone
Yeah.
last week. Are you?"
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the Megan you talked to last week. So I think that's really something that separates us. It's a lot of very skilled and very individualized attention if
Exactly.
you want it. Now, if you don't, if you want to be the self studier, you want to be left alone, I hear you. Okay, no problem. I'm not going to badger you.
Well, and I think that that's something that a lot of students don't realize. Without tooting our own horn too much, we do have a very big name. We do have a very big presence in MCAT prep. And I think sometimes students tend to believe that we're this giant multi-bajillion dollar company with tons and tons and tons and tons of employees. And we're not. We're a very small, privately owned, hands-on company. And when you are in a class that we are managing, you talk to us. You're not talking to the third customer service rep down the line. If you have a concern or a complaint, the same person that you talk to enroll you into classes, which is going to be us, is the same person who's going to talk to you about that complaint. So it makes it a very one-on-one, as you said, hands-on individual approach. And I do think that separates us quite a bit from the other companies, that, you don't, as a student, you don't come into the process feeling like a number. You come in feeling like a student and you stay that student the entire session. So I think that's a really, really big point. But it looks like we're approaching, 17, 18 minutes. So I would know we wanted to keep this under 20 today. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But before we do, just a couple of quick notes, guys, and all this will be in the description box below. We've mentioned it a couple of times, but February classes are approaching. So if you are thinking about enrolling, February 10th is the start date of that class. Enrollment is still open across the country. Jump on the website, take a look at the sites, call Megan, call myself, call the company. They'll direct you to us. And we can certainly talk to you about your situation and your location. The online class as well, East Coast and West Coast time zones are up for enrollment. And tomorrow night, the 19th, is it no, not tomorrow, Friday. I'm getting ahead of myself in days. Friday night, we have a webinar session. It's a free online science lesson. The link for it will be in the description below, so you guys can link in if you want. It's a free online webinar. We're going to do one of our MCAT science lessons. I believe we're doing chemistry on Friday. It's either a physics or a chemistry lesson. It's one of the two on Friday evening. So jump in for that. It's totally free event. It's pretty awesome. And if you're thinking about using Examkrackers, it's a great way to hear one of our instructors actually deliver a lecture and to participate in a lecture and to see how we teach MCAT. So it's a really kind of awesome opportunity and totally free. So why not? But anything else, Megan?
Nope, that'll do it, guys. Yeah, I've got to run. I have an interview too. So, okay.
All right. Well, glad to be back. We will see you guys next week and hopefully on the webinar on Friday night. Bye.
All right. Sounds good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.